Regular days would turn into never-ending weekends.
So this arrived this week. My brand new camera lens, the Sigma 10-18 f2.8. I've been rocking the Sigma 24-70 f2.8 for the longest time, and while that's a fantastic cinematic lens, it's also on the heavier side, so it's not that easy to carry around on a day-to-day. Before this lens arrived, I actually bought the Sony 11mm f1.8. I did a little bit more research, and that's how I found this. I figured it'd be more valuable and be versatile if I had the zoom lens instead of a f1.8. So if you're wondering what this looks like, let's get this guy on the camera. So this is 10mm. On APS-C mode, it actually takes me to 16. You can see, have a better view of everything that's around me. The cool thing is that I can actually bring this in a lot closer than what I had the 24-70 at, but you still have a wider focal length and you can see much more behind. Anyways, that isn't the main topic of this video today. I just wanted to show you some goodies that arrived this week. Let's jump right into the topic. I want to tell you about the morning I had yesterday. I went to the gym at my usual 5:30 a.m. time, and the session that day was a recovery day. So I'm following this program by Dr. Andrew Huberman. It's something I'll do an episode on later, but basically my recovery day is not your typical do nothing type of day. I do an alternating saunas are hot, alternating sauna, cold shower, and I do that back and forth for a couple rounds. Why I was really excited for that morning session is because it happened to be in line with the process for creating a new episode. What that meant is that I have some time to brainstorm some ideas and stuff that I want to do. So I get in the sauna and there's this other gym member there that I've seen every morning but actually haven't said hi to yet. It's not because I'm antisocial or anything. I just prefer to take the mornings to myself and not talk to anybody so I can really dial in and have the best workout for myself. Anyways, we're both in the sauna, and within the first 10 minutes of the first round, without even saying hello, he looks at me and says, "What brings you to the gym this early in the morning? Is it a habit?" And instantly I'm surprised because I'm like, dude, have you been sitting there just mind reading me for the past 10 minutes? How did you know this is what I've been thinking about? And that's today's episode topic. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of habit formation and my own habit journey, I think it's important that we talk about why habits are important and why people want to build good habits. So my fellow sauna participant said that people build good habits because they generally want to improve some aspect of their life. And I 100% agree, because that's why I started my own habit journey. I'm a believer that habits serve the foundation to achieve larger goals. For example, you want to learn how to code, you want to save money, or you want to lose weight. The larger goals that I had set in my habit journey were about improving myself. So how long does it take to form a habit? You've probably heard that it takes 21 days to form a habit. Where this comes from is from a study in the 1950s where there was a plastic surgeon who observed that it took 21 days for his patients to notice a change in themselves. So this became the popular idea for the next long while until in 2009, a study that was published in the European Journal of Psychology changed that way of thinking. So in this study, there were 96 folks, and over 12 weeks, they tried a variety of different topics. Some complex, some more simple. So it turns out it took anywhere between 18 to 254 days to build a habit. And on average, it took about 66 days. So basically what that means, it takes about a little bit over 2 months for you to develop a good habit. 66 days is the magic number, and that's when you get to a point called automaticity. Automaticity is when behaviors become automatic and you can perform them with little to no conscious thought or effort. When a habit reaches a level of automaticity, it means doing the behavior has become so normal that it feels strange to skip it. You know you formed a habit when that activity is integrated into your daily routine and you don't have to rely on reminders or external motivations. The habit becomes a part of your identity, and it goes from being something that you have to do to something that you just do.
Ceiling fan blowing cold breeze on your body. I can't tell you really what it is, but you got it. Makeup in the morning, you got dresses in your closet, but you grab them tight, you in love with being modest.
I started my habit journey this past January, and I figured there was no better time to get started because New Year's had just passed. I had set some goals for myself. These were improving my health and fitness, improving my cognitive abilities, improving my mood and my emotional well-being, and I also really wanted to get rid of a bunch of bad behaviors that I thought weren't benefiting me. In order to achieve these goals, I knew that I needed a solid foundation, so I decided to focus on small habits that I knew I could make gradual and incremental progress on. So what habits did I choose and why? I chose habits that were simple, that were small, and ones that I knew that I could consistently perform. These were reading 10 pages a day, exercising daily, meditating for at least 10 minutes a day, and eventually I added one to my content creation journey called deep work, which is performing deep work that requires dedicated focus for at least 60 minutes a day. I mentioned that habits are the foundation to achieve larger goals. So shortly after kicking off my habit journey, I started reading a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. There's a part of that book that really stuck with me, and it's the concept of identity-based habits. Going back to the goals that I mentioned earlier, improving my health and fitness, improving my cognitive ability, improving my mood and well-being, these are what we call outcome-based goals, where the focus is on the results and the outcome. Rather than focusing on outcome-based goals, the author of the book suggests a better recipe for building good habits, which is start believing new things about yourself. This is what we call identity-based habits. This approach is centered on changing beliefs about yourself and focusing on the person you want to become rather than results, outcomes, or performance. Why does this all matter? Well, at least for me, my mindset has changed from now improving myself to knowing who I want to be and who I want to become. And I feel like pivoting to this way of thinking is giving me a lot more motivation, a lot more fuel, a lot more desire and energy to continue my habit journey. So my experience is going pretty well, but it wasn't always like that. It was pretty difficult to start, so let's talk about the challenges and the different stages of habit change. If you decide to take this journey for yourself, you should prepare yourself for a potentially uncomfortable ride for the first portion of it. Clear mentions the 66 days in his book, and it's also mentioned in Robin Sharma's 5 a.m. Club as well. Sharma breaks down the 66-day period into 3 distinct 22-day stages. First is destruction. This stage focuses breaking down old limiting habits and behaviors. It's about overcoming resistance and the discomfort that comes with letting go of familiar patterns, essentially destroying the old self that's tied to those habits. Next is installation. During this phase, the new habit starts to take root. This is when you begin to install the new behavior through consistent practice, making it a more regular part of your daily routine. The focus is on building the neural pathways that will support the new habit. Last is integration. The new habit becomes integrated into your life and starts to feel natural. The behavior becomes a part of your identity, performed with little conscious effort, and is now a solid part of your daily actions and decisions. For the habits that I am focusing on building, I'm at the tail end of the installation phase. I can tell you that days 1 to 22 weren't easy. There were days that I didn't feel like exercising, I'd fall asleep during reading, I also felt more irritable and sensitive to stressors, and I was definitely sweating the small stuff. But I made it through the first 22 days, and I can tell you that things are a lot better. I can honestly tell you I can feel the routine kicking in, and that discomfort feeling has changed to, oh, it's now weird if I don't do it. Okay, here's the fun part of the episode. Now that you know more about habits and my overall experience, I want to share some of the tools that I'm using on my habit journey. Let's call this the 66-day habit challenge, and it's broken down into 2 phases. Preparation and action. First things first, let's deep dive into shaping your vision. What kind of person do you want to become? Maybe you want to become someone that's more mindful, super creative, ultra confident, maybe something else entirely. The first thing you'll do is write down your goal in just a few words, like, I want to be more mindful. Then picture someone who totally rocks that goal. Describe them in 1 sentence and write that down also. This vision of who you want to become is your beacon, your guiding light moving you forward. This part is key. It's a game changer. Seriously, don't skip it. Having this clear image of who you want to become is like having a roadmap in your hand for your journey. Next up, figure out what's behind it all. Dig deep and figure out what's really driving you. What's the deeper motivation for you to achieve this new identity? Get those reasons down on paper too. Mash them all together and bam, this is your vision. Once your vision is crystal clear, we'll break down those big goals into small, doable habits. Start by breaking down your vision to 2 to 3 small habits that vibe with your identity. The idea here is to start small and build consistency over time. Now that we have our list, let's take a second to review it. And this part is super key because hiccups happen. It could be a crazy case of the Monday blues or just a really busy schedule, but we need to plan ahead because there's going to be some challenges. If you spot these challenges and hitches early, then it's going to be a much easier ride and smooth sailing forward. With our habit list broken down and our challenges identified, it's almost showtime, so now let's set everything up. We'll focus on a few key aspects to make this work: environment, schedule, and habit stacking. Environment is key. You can set yourself up for success by changing what's around you. Going back to my habit of daily exercise, I used to go to the gym in the evenings when it was extremely busy. Oftentimes I felt unsatisfied, I wasn't happy, and very disappointed that I couldn't get anything done when I was there. This busy gym environment was a massive roadblock for me, so I decided to go in the mornings instead. That was a game changer for me. Since changing my environment, I've had really solid workouts every morning, and I can't imagine where I'd be if I didn't switch it up. And here's another example for environment. Let's say that you want to read 10 pages a day. Well, put your book on your pillowcase or put it by your nightstand. This makes it obvious, easily accessible, and hard to avoid. Scheduling is another key aspect. You want to schedule your habits like they're non-negotiable appointments. Work meetings, haircuts, medical appointments, these all have places in your calendar. So why not schedule habits in there as well? You can use the calendar app in your phone or computer, or go the extra mile and get a physical one if you really want it to be visible. Last key aspect is called habit stacking, and this is kind of like a habit hack. In habit stacking, you take your new habit and you stick it alongside an existing one to increase its chances of sticking. You're more likely to do a new habit alongside one that you've already been consistently doing. Going back to my example of meditation, this is a habit that would stack alongside another one. Let me explain. I exercise early in the mornings, and then I was initially doing my meditation later throughout the day, but I was very inconsistent. Then it occurred to me that I could do it right after every workout. My gym is already set up for this. My gym has a dedicated meditation room. It has a beanbag, yoga mat, auto dimming lights, and it's an environment that I'm already set up for success with. Okay, so that sums up the preparation phase, and we're ready to take our plan and kick it into the action phase. So now we've got a solid plan, and it's all about keeping track of our progress every step of the way. You might wonder why keeping tabs on our habit is such a big deal. Tracking helps you on your toes. It keeps you laser focused on your habit journey. It's also a reminder and a boost of motivation, kind of like a pat on the back. This kind of reward is important. It's what sends those happy vibes to your brain, making your habits stick as part of your routine. And hey, tracking doesn't have to be a hassle. You could go old school with a physical habit journal, or if you're tech savvy, go download an app. I found this super simple app on the App Store in no time and allows me to track my habits. This app was a breeze to use. Just enter your habit, check it off when done, and it keeps you on track for the next day. Besides tracking, I think it's also super important to find time to reflect on your habit journey. Reflection has a few key benefits, and here's a few of them. Reflection will give you an opportunity to understand where you're at and ramp up your learning game. It'll help you understand which of your strategies are hitting the mark and which aren't. Reflection is also great for sorting out your feelings. When you reflect on your habit journey, it gives you an opportunity to lower your stress, deal with your emotions, and keep your mental health in check. It's a key step for staying emotionally stable when things are changing. Reflection is also a time to celebrate your successes. Even though you're not at the finish line yet, it's an opportunity to celebrate those mini wins. So how do I get into reflecting? Well, when you're doing your daily habit tracking, take a few minutes to think about what you just did, how it went, and how you're feeling now. This could be a full-out journal entry or something as small as rating yourself like a 1 to 5. And if daily feels like too much, how about a monthly reflection session? Set a little bit of time each month to check in with yourself, understand how you're doing, and gauge your feelings.
Don't wanna be stuck in a spot, telling you it ain't what I thought. Don't wanna be stuck in a spot, cause I don't really like what I got, so I changed it.
I want to get back to the 66 days. If you don't make the 66 days straight, or skip a day, it's not the end of the world. Missing a day isn't a deal breaker. We're aiming for regularity, not a perfect streak. And it's like working out. There's going to be some setbacks, but the key thing is that you just keep getting at it. Skipping days doesn't erase your hard work, but it might make getting back into it feel a little bit harder. If you break the routine, it kind of messes up your groove and it might lead to more skips. Best thing to do is get right back at it and don't let one slip up turn into a long break. What happens after you complete the 66 days? Well, first off, congratulate yourself. This is a huge accomplishment and that's something that you should be proud of. The key thing to remember is that the 66 days isn't the finish line. It's just the start of keeping up the good work. Think of those 66 days as your habit boot camp. You've set the groundwork and now it's time to build on top of it. Keep going with your habit and tweak it to make it more fresh and effective. Now it's a perfect time to mix things up and you can make it more challenging and rewarding. Even though habits start to feel automatic after 66 days, some of them might need a conscious nudge here and then to make sure that they keep going. And years later, you might need some extra willpower to keep your habits up. So keep your focus sharp. Regular effort, smart tweaks, and always aiming for the better is how you lock in those habits for the long run. All right, that's a scoop on habits for you. I put together this awesome guide with everything that we talked about today. You can find it in the description below, and you can click the link to download it and kickstart your own habit journey. If you're game for this challenge, I'd really love to hear about it. Drop a comment and let me know what you think, or if you have any stories about your own habit journey as well. If you were digging this episode, please give it a like, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with more cool content.